Yeah, Friday night drink, huh? April 4th.
Apple juice.
Oh,
Apple juice. It's good
okay.
for you.
Yeah, it is. You fooled me. Anyway.
April 4th. How about it? So, since we're on April 4th, I think you have a little bit for us, don't you? On
Yeah,
this day.
yeah, I got two short on this days, one from 1988, the other 1997. So on 1988, do you have any idea what Daryl Strawberry did?
Did he? Gosh, I don't know. Was it his first time punching a player in the face, or?
Well, pretty much, except it was a baseball. In fact, he had a 525-foot home run at Olympic Stadium, which is currently the longest
Oof.
home run ever hit at Olympic Stadium, the old Expo Stadium. So that was my first one. The other one, 1997, the Braves beat the Cubs 5-4 at the first game ever at Turner Field.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Turner Field.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Never got to catch a game there, but
They did once.
I'll go ahead and throw one at you. It
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and throw one at you from back in 2003 with an old former rival of the Cardinals, Sammy Sosa. So April 4th, 2003, Sammy Sosa, he hit his 500th career home run playing Cincinnati Reds. So I always think the 500 home runs, it's a special place to be in when it comes to that category. Whatever your thoughts are on Sammy Sosa or not, it's, being able to see him play back in the day. I know you were pretty young when Sammy Sosa was playing, but you definitely still were watching him because we always had baseball on growing up. Same with Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds. Uh, those guys were fun to watch rake growing up, though. They don't make them like that anymore.
No. No.
I'll go ahead and start us with a little bit of news too. So I'll get the worst out of the way first. I'll throw out just a couple injuries, the biggest injuries. I only have two of them right now. There are, other minor injuries going on, but the two biggest. There it is again. The baseball sloppiest talk show coming in, and with
Yep.
the lag, never fails. Crazy storms going on right now, so
Yeah.
hopefully it
It's
doesn't
been
last too long.
storming all
Yeah.
today and yesterday here. So
Yeah, south. It's been a mess. We might see some rain delays too. I know there
yeah.
was a Cardinals Red Sox rain delayed today, but there'll probably be more rain delays this weekend with these storms moving in. So be prepared for that. But I did want to say before we got lagged up a little bit, a couple injuries I just wanted to mention was Freddie Freeman going on the IL-10 with a right ankle sprain. I guess he hurt himself going into the shower, it looks like. It doesn't matter what it is. It's unfortunate for Freddie Freeman. He's especially for fantasy owners. He's a big bat to have in the past years, but as we know, he's getting up there in age a little bit. So you hate to see it, but Freddie Freeman will miss some time. Another one that actually just happened right before our start was Cincinnati Reds Matt McLain. McLean is one of my guys on fantasy, so saw that, and that's a huge bummer. Right hamstring is what I was reading, or maybe it was left, but I know it was a hamstring he was dealing with. So as of now, he's day to day. Man, and I kept him all season long last year. Didn't play at all. Had to be serious because I need Matt couple other things I was going to mention was retirement. Um, it's been a few days now, but Lance Lynn put in his notice on his wife's podcast that he was retiring, which I thought was a pretty cool way to go out. I did think Lance was going to maybe try to stick out and maybe get on a contract somewhere, maybe finish off a year on a contender somewhere, maybe even in the bullpen. I know he talked about going to in the closing role, but he did announce his retirement. He finishes with 364 games, 143 wins, 99 losses, a 3.74 ERA, 2,000 innings pitched, with over 2,000 strikeouts, 2,015 strikeouts to be exact, with a 1.28 WHIP. So, as a Cardinal fan, Cardinals drafted Lance Lynn. This is actually a Willie McGee jersey, but cool to see Lance Lynn. He had an excellent career. Man, he was a workhorse. So, one more person I'm going to mention too, and I'm going to ask your opinion on this. Speaking of retirement, does Anthony Rizzo retire? What are your thoughts on Lance Lynn as well retiring? Are you okay with that?
First, Lance Lynn. Yeah, I mean, he had a good career, and then he ended it with the
Yeah.
Cardinals. Like you said, that he did mention the closer role. I guess
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened. Just wasn't getting really any bites, or maybe he just wanted to hang up the cleats. Which, hey,
Mm-hmm.
he was a great pitcher. Started his career and ended his career at the Cardinals, so that's pretty cool. And then who was the other one you said?
So Anthony Rizzo, I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
on him. He's still a free agent. Do you think he gets picked up maybe by a contending team or somebody that maybe just needs a first baseman, or do you think he's going to hang it up soon?
No, I do think it's weird that nobody's picked him up yet.
Yeah.
Um,
JD Martinez
yeah,
also.
yeah. I think I'm gonna go with what you said about possibly needing a first baseman if maybe there's an injury
Mm-hmm.
or something to that extent, or someone just needs a bat off the bench.
Yeah.
I do think eventually he will get picked up.
Yeah. It's just weird to not see him in the league, I think. But yeah, it's kind of sad at the same time to see all these guys come through and watch their whole careers and now they're on their way out. So um but someone who's not on their way out, matter of fact, he's just on his way in, is Jackson Merrill, and he gets that 9-year, $135 million extension with the Padres. Uh, that's pretty sweet for a 21-year-old. Man, that guy, future MVP. Gonna say right now that, and I'm glad that he's on my fantasy team because it makes me feel a little more comfortable day to day. Another extension. Cattell Marte, he gets a 6-year, $116.5 million extension with the D-backs. So that's pretty cool. I think that's well deserved for him. He's, my opinion, probably the best second baseman in the league. Little underrated, I think. Nobody really talks about him as much as they do. There you go, like they do other players. But that's another guy. Also on his way in is my Christian Campbell over there at the Red Sox, and he took the 8-year extension worth 60 mil. So I think that's great for the Red Sox and their organization, man, because that kid can ball out. Today, I mean every day, but today I was watching him in that Cardinals game, which was a really fun game. If anyone got to tune in, it was the home opener with the Cardinals and Red Sox, and there were home runs flying out everywhere. And Christian Campbell is, you could just see it in him. You could definitely see it in him. Like he's gonna ball out. What are your thoughts on these contracts with Merrill and Marte and Campbell?
I think they're pretty well deserved. Like you said, Jackson Merrill, possibly a future MVP. It was good for the Padres to lock him up for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Cattell Marte, arguably the second or the best second baseman in baseball. So glad to see that. And also with Christian Campbell, another young star. And I guess the kind of the thing that I like about all these contracts is, I guess, the loyalty and players sticking with the teams they've been with. I know Merrill and Campbell are kind of on their way in, but Ketel Marte has been with the Diamondbacks his whole career. I know he started with the Mariners, but he's been with the Diamondbacks for it's like 2017, 2018 at least.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good to have some loyalty for those teams. So for the
Yeah, I
fans.
agree. And I know you brought up maybe catching a was it a Braves Reds game at the Bristol Motor Speedway?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think that sounds really great. That sounds like our kind of time. But another park that also I wanted to mention too that we should go to is getting out to Petco and catching a Padres game, because the vibe there is insane, man. I mean, just reminds me of like a a really intense Cardinals game back in the day or something. Just the fans are really into it, and I think Merrill's a big part of that. Tatis is obviously a big part of that, but that's a fun team. So I think we need to take a San Diego trip in the future and catch a game out there, and obviously Fenway, because we have both not been to Fenway yet, and we got to get out there.
That's a crime for us, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. That's what an experience. I'm sure anyone tuning in that's been out there can speak highly. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about a baseball game out there. So unless you're a Yankees fan, then it's probably not that fun. But what else did you have for us?
I did have one injury I wanted to add on. It was Nolan Gorman. He was placed on the 10-day IL with the right hamstring. Really sucks because even though that Gorman hasn't played every day, the games he has played this year, he's actually hit really well. So hopefully this isn't something that, is like a Royce Lewis thing.
Yeah, I can only hope not, because he had some back issues in the past as well. And maybe keeping him at just a DH versus righties is, we have that option to do that. It's almost like it's almost a cheat code, I think, the DH is, and I think it's overlooked by people because you have that person instead of having a pitcher. Obviously, you can put in one of your best hitters. So if you have that righty lefty matchup or lefty righty matchup, we could. We've been using Luke and Baker to come in against lefties a little bit. So I'm kind of excited to see. Hopefully he can heat up a little bit. He led the majors in home run, or the minors in home runs. I know at least one season. He's had like a couple 30 plus home run seasons down in the minors. He's got some serious power. That's a big dude. But yeah, another guy actually I want to go ahead and just throw out there. And I think you maybe had something, was Ivan Herrera over there with the Cardinals. What's your thoughts on that guy going crazy right now?
Yeah, pretty good hot streak, I gotta say. 3 home runs Wednesday, and then another home run, a 3-run shot here today at Fenway. I think that was his 4th because I think the 3 that he had were his first 3 of the season. And just kind of a little bit of history, he was the first Cardinals catcher ever to hit 3 home runs in a game. So that's pretty cool. As good as Molina was, he was never always the power hitter. So
Right.
it's kind of cool to see that. As far as the defense goes, I think Herrera still needs a little bit of work. But hitting, I'm not too worried about it.
No, like you said, that being the first Cardinal, Cardinals have a deep history of baseball. They've been around for a while, so being the first one to do that, that's saying something. Just like the Yankees being the first team to hit that many home runs.
Yeah.
This year, that's saying something. Dodgers too. I think they have their. So they're the only undefeated team still. The Dodgers are. And they're the first team to do that. And I thought they said since like the 50s or something, to win a championship and then start a season off, like go 7-0. So Dodgers are looking, I'm telling you, like I said, this might be a historical year for the Dodgers. And this might be another historical year for Aaron Judge. So another fun year of baseball, that's for sure. But falling back on Herrera, fantasy owners, if he's out there, I don't care who your catcher is, unless it's, I don't know, maybe William Contreras or Adley, maybe Yanier Diaz, or I guess Wilson Contreras because you can put him in that. I'm getting Herrera, man. Austin Wells is a good option too. Kyle Raleigh, but there's not a lot of catchers out there that's going to put up numbers like Herrera. And this is actually his career. So he had 229 at bats last season, where he hit 301 with 800 OPS. But his last season and this season combined, he's got 304 bats. He's hitting a 296 average with 9 home runs, 43 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, and an 815 OPS. So the 9 home runs seems maybe a little low with 300 bats, but that number is going to skyrocket. I think he's gonna hit a lot more home runs than most catchers. He could be an easy 25, 30 home run catcher this year if he gets his playing time. But like you said, he does need a little work behind the plate. I think Pedro Pajes probably has him beat on defense by a pretty good distance, but which Pajes can hit too. But I do think Herrera's bat is better. So Cardinals are pretty set, I would say, at the catching position.
Yeah, I agree. And then speaking of catchers, we had our first cycle of 2025 Monday night. Former Cardinal Carson Kelly hit for the cycle against the Athletics in Sacramento in an 18-3 victory. He was the first Cubs player since Mark Grace in '93 to hit for the cycle. He's the 18th catcher in history to hit for the cycle and the 348th player of all time to hit for the cycle. So, kind of an unlikely guy.
You picking him up in fantasy or?
Dude, I'm better than Contreras is right now.
That is
For
true.
me.
That is true.
So, but
Contreras,
I'll probably
find
still
it.
stick with Contreras, and I still have Will Smith behind the plate too. So I think I'm good on the
Yeah.
catching spot.
Yeah, for sure. You're fine. I will. Another thing I wanted to say too is I wanted to hear your thoughts on Esteury Ruiz. I think is how his first name's pronounced. But going to the Dodgers, do you think he's going to be? I know he's in the minors right now, but you think he'll get some playing time eventually up there? Maybe a playoff guy for that speed.
Yeah, that's a tough roster to make if you're down in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
I
Takes an
know
injury.
a couple years ago he had like 60 or 70 steals.
Yeah.
So speed obviously isn't an issue, and I think he had a pretty decent glove. He just couldn't figure it out with the stick. So I mean, if he can make some adjustments up there, I definitely think it could possibly make roster spot at least for the September call ups for sure. But I guess we'll just see. I think he'd be a good guy to have on the bench, pinch running, especially in the playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got called up.
Yeah. It was weird for him last season because 2 seasons ago, like you said, he had, I think, 73 stolen bases or something, led the majors. His bat wasn't that bad. He didn't show a lot of power, but his bat really wasn't that bad. And also he was on a really bad athletics team at the time. Their hitters are much, much better now than they were at that time. But the bats that he did get last season, he just didn't get a lot of playing time. I remember he was started in AAA right away, and then like his first at bat, they brought him up. He hit a home run, so it was like he went 1 for 1 or something with a home run, and then he sat a few games, and then he came in and hit like another home run. It was weird. So he didn't get that playing time last season. So maybe they know something that other people don't, or see something that other people don't. So, but yeah, kind of an interesting move for the Dodgers, I think. But I could see him turning into something being over there at the same time.
Yeah.
I was going to also say Chase Dollander for the Rockies. He got his call up. He's going to be starting Sunday against. Do you know who he's starting against Sunday?
Oakland or
I got you
Athletics.
right here.
It's the Athletics. I
Oh,
accidentally
okay.
said Oakland.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed
Yeah.
that
So
I said
that's.
Oakland.
Hey, I told you this can happen. I did it like 3 times that one day. But so that's pretty cool. He's one of the top rated prospects in baseball. I think top 3 in prospects for pitching. What are your thoughts on Dollander? Have you got much on him, or have you been able to watch him throw it all? I know he got picked up in fantasy already.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did. I just didn't have any spots left, so it was kind of I'm pretty decent on pitching, but yeah, I think he's number 24 on MLB's prospect top 100. So yeah, starting against the Athletics Sunday, I've seen a little bit. It's going to be tough pitching at Coors Field. I don't know if you saw earlier the Athletics and Rockies, they were playing snow.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, I did
snowing
catch
there,
that.
yeah. So if it's cold, that's going to be tough for him, especially in his debut. Now,
Yeah,
last year in the minors, I think it was 2 or 3 different levels. He posted a 2.59 ERA, 169 strikeouts, and 118 innings pitched. So pretty good.
yeah.
So
Um, like you said, it's pitching at Coors Field, that it just makes it so much harder. Um, I don't know. Maybe he goes there and proves a lot of people wrong, but um, shoot, he's talented, so he'll obviously pitch good on the road. He's got a pretty solid defense behind there. Rocky's got a funny little team over there, but they do have a lot of talent, in my opinion. Hunter Goodman, he's starting to show his skills off, getting pretty much a start. I mean, he's a full time starter now. Tolia's still struggling with the bat a little bit, but he's been great over at first base defensively. You know, Tovar and
Tovar, yeah.
Tovar has been great on defense, but their bats haven't really woken up yet, but they will. I think they have a pretty good hitting team. They also have Jordan Beck. That was your guy
Yeah.
from last season.
Yeah.
He's still, is trying to find his his swing for the season, but I'm sure he will.
No.
Um,
Can't forget about Brenton Doyle too over there.
yeah, and Brenton Doyle. I mean, he was one of the better outfielders last season, and he's one of I would guess they're probably their best player. So, uh, but I'm going to change the tempo a little bit, drop it down from the majors all the way down to high school. So I know we don't talk a lot of high school ball, and I've been trying to pay attention to a little more. There's a school out here, Metrolina Christian Academy. It's in Indian Trail, North Carolina. They're like a top 50 ranked team. It's the closest top ranked team to me. Not maybe 30 minutes away. So I used to live by IMG Academy when I was down in Florida. So they've always got studs coming out of there. But this guy, he's out of Lincoln Way East High School. He's a senior, and his name is Jack Bauer, and he consistently can hit 100, right around there. He actually hit 102. He is, I believe, on top prospect, high school prospect list. Thoughts on throwing 102 in high school? That'd be a challenge. Trying to get a hold of that.
Yeah, I I couldn't imagine being in high school, making the team and then trying to hit, like an Aroldis Chapman type fastball.
Yeah. Yeah. Drop something. Um, yeah, I was looking at him, and looks like he's a left-handed pitcher and a first baseman. I'm looking at him on Perfect Game. I mean, he's committed to go to Virginia right now, so we'll probably see him in college ball next year, I guess. Yeah, next spring. So that'll be a better time to tell more about him. But 6'3", 190 as of now, so he's still a young guy, but 102 at 17 years old. I think he maybe recently turned 18. He did. He just turned 18. So 102 at 18 is ridiculous. So he might be the next Ben Joyce of college ball, especially if he starts putting on a little weight and muscle and throwing a little harder. That's Illinois guy, though, Midwest. Do you know who the number one ranked high schooler is in baseball?
I I actually don't.
I'll give you a guess. His dad played for the Cardinals, and his brother plays for the Orioles.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Ethan Holiday.
Mr. Ethan Holiday.
Yeah, so he is the number one high school baseball player ranked in the country, which is really no surprise, but pretty cool. I'm sure he's going to be a top 3 draft pick. Maybe he gets drafted out of high school this year. I don't know. He could very well get drafted out of high school this year. Even Jackson. I mean, he hasn't really got to blossom, I guess, in MLB yet. He's not looking that great as everybody thought he'd be for being one of one. But everybody does say Ethan is going to be a better player than Jackson. So just something to keep in mind. And also with college ball, have you been able to watch any college baseball at all or see any college baseball highlights?
Very little, not a ton, but I've seen some.
Yeah, so same here. I don't really watch a ton of college baseball. When it gets to uh, playoff time up in Omaha, then I will. But I still like to keep in touch, I guess, with it a little bit just to see who's hitting the home runs down there. Because I don't know if you remember last year, Jack Caglione and Charlie Condone for the Rockies, and Jack Caglione for the Royals were just smacking the ball out of the park, and they were making a big name for themselves in college, and that's what got them drafted so high. And I don't remember. I think Charlie Condone maybe had a couple home runs more than Jack Caglione. I can't remember for sure. They were very close. Couple of those guys. I think Christian Moore was up there too for the Angels. But Jack Caglione was also one of the best pitchers in college at the time as well with the University of Florida. So he was a two-way player, which is even more special. But right now, another Georgia Bulldog, just like Charlie, named Robbie Burnett. He's leading right now with in college home runs, along with Grant Gallagher for ETSU, Eastern Tennessee, I believe. They're both tied at 15. So Georgia guy in I think it's Eastern Tennessee. Both tied at 15. And then Max Williams for Florida State has 14, along with Ryland Zaborowski, another Georgia guy with 14. So Georgia's got some heavy bats down there. And then after that, there's a ton tied for 13 home runs. But right now, it looks like another Georgia guy is in the lead for home runs again this season. So kind of cool. I was trying to maybe catch a North Carolina game at some point, but
Yeah, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. But what else do you have for us, Luke? thought I'd just hit a little high school and college for a sec.
Yeah, kind of a couple things to touch on. One is uh, umpire. I believe I'm saying his name correctly, Mike McClinsky, I want to say. But anyways, he had missed a season high 22 calls and recorded a season's worst correct call rate at 85.4% in the Cardinals Angels game on Wednesday, which is not good. Anyway, his comments though, because I guess some of the I wasn't really paying attention to that part, but apparently the couple of the Cardinals were sarcastically going like this,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the ABS system in spring training. And he came out with a comment. And he said if any of the other Cardinals he caught them doing that, they would be ejected immediately. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I that's kind of a little over the top in my opinion. I mean, especially when you're going to make uh, a correct call rate that bad and
Yeah.
miss 22 calls.
Yeah, I did see that, and the Cardinals aren't the only ones doing that. I've seen multiple players on other teams do that after bad calls or calls that they should be challenged. And other umpires have handled it well. At least that I saw. Maybe there were other warnings out there or something, but William Contreras did it on I think his very first at bat of the season. I think he struck out, and that was the first thing he did. So it's going to happen, especially when it's something that they just played with all spring. They're probably used to doing that. And it's something that's coming to the majors, whether people like it or not. Umpires, I imagine, probably don't, unless you're calling, 98% of higher or higher on accurate calls or something. But for him, someone that's missing 22 calls in a game, um, that's somebody that's probably not going to have an umpire position too much longer, in my opinion, which is good. I mean, if it's coming anyways, might as well. I'm not all for just making it completely perfect. Nothing should be perfect. That's not a thing. But if with technology like this, I think it is very beneficial. I think the challenge thing's actually really fun too. Um, it gets the fans really going. We see it with replays whenever if somebody steals a bag and slides in and they call them out and the home team challenges it, and then the fans get crazy whenever they win it or boo when they lose it, or so I'm all for the challenges, but yeah, that umpire needs to go. He's just mad because he knows he's making bad calls. Just
Yeah.
retire, man.
Yep. And then the other thing I had was the Cincinnati Reds. Unfortunately, they make some disappointing history. So they were shut out 3 consecutive games, and they lost all those games 1-0. The last time that happened was 1960, where a
Mm,
team was shut out 3 games but lost those 3 games also 1-0. So it's got to be frustrating because not only I mean you have such great pitching to only allow 1 run for 3 straight games, but to not score a single run in those 3 games is
yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, it really
yeah,
is.
that's a stat right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, gotta love them. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
All right.
Um, if you want, I'll go ahead. So, like we said, it's April 4th. Uh, everybody will be listening to this on April 5th, tomorrow, Saturday. So we got some good matchups tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and read off these matchups before we get off here, just so everybody knows what's coming and what games to tune into. But up in Boston, our Cardinals got Andrew Palante facing off with Richard Fitz. Don't have a lot of detail on Fitz, but I hope the Cardinals tear him up. I need a 3-run shot by Victor Scott, maybe a couple of them. White Sox take on the Tigers. We got Davis Martin. I think it's his first start of the season. Not familiar with this White Sox pitcher. I picked up Sean Burke in fantasy. Bad idea. But he's facing Reese Olson of the Tigers. Spencer Arrighetti for the Houston Astros facing off with Nightmare Bailey Ober up in Minnesota. We got Nick Pavetta, almost your guy, facing Boyd,
Yeah.
Matthew Boyd over in Chicago. We got actually your guy, Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez. He'll be taking on Mitchell Parker over in Washington. Roque Sasaki, your other guy, facing Aaron Nola in Philly. So that'll be probably a game I tune into, the Phillies Dodgers game. That'll be a fun game. Padres Cubs game will be another game I'll probably tune into. But over in Pittsburgh, where they just had their opening day, Stroman takes on Bailey Falter. And then in Kansas, we got Michael Waka, and he'll be taking on Tomiyuki Sugano. So I'm hoping, because he's on my squad, I'm hoping that we can see what he's really made of. And then we have your other fella, Taj Bradley, taking on Jacob deGrom. That'll probably be something I tune into in Arlington. Chris Bassett taking on Mets Griffin Cannon. Got Reds Brady Singer taking on Rodriguez for the Brewers. Elvin Rodriguez. We got Kyle Quantrill taking on AJ Smith-Shawver. Kind of curious what the Braves do. They're still the only team without a win. I made some bad predictions on them winning the division because their pitching is looking a little rough, and they've already lost Profar. So, and they're just not hitting. I mean, they're looking. I know they're 7 games in, but Braves, ouch. We got the Athletics. Sears, he'll be taking on Marquise over in Colorado. Is it Yerman Marquise?
Germán, I think Marquez, maybe. I think
Germán Marquez. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew I was butchering his name. He's been around a while too.
Yeah.
But he'll be making his first start of the season, with or without snow. We got Bobby Miller with Seattle taking on Robbie Ray. So that'll be a fun one in San Francisco. And then for our last matchup, we got Tanner Bybee. Definitely going to butcher this guy's name, but Jack Koknowitz. I don't know. But
yeah.
but hey, his numbers aren't too bad. He's got 6 innings, 3 RA, 4 strikeouts, 0.67 WHIP. So sorry about that, Angels fans, but a lot of good matchups tomorrow. So I'm stoked for it. We'll have plenty to talk about here again soon. And Luke, I think that's all I have for tonight.
All right. I did have actually one more crazy MLB stat for the video.
Let's hear it, baby. Let's hear it.
All right. Everybody loves Cal Ripken Jr. So Cal Ripken Jr., as a lot of big baseball fans know, he played in 2,632 straight games. So he wasn't taken out. He wasn't pinch hit for. Never missed any game. He played all 9 innings of all those games. 2,632, which is crazy, from May 30th, 1982 to September 1998. So, Vinny, do you want to take a guess on who the most recent player who has been closest to this? I'll give you one guess.
What's my guess?
Like, you mean hint?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He was Orioles guy. Another fellow Orioles player.
Another Orioles guy.
Now, at the time, he was he was on the A's at the time he started this, I believe, but he was on the Orioles at the time it ended. I had to think about that for a second.
Man, I'm not gonna be able to guess that right now.
But I know that
I don't. I know it'll never be broken,
hit,
though. I know.
Yeah. So I will give you one more hint. It's he was the 2002 American League MVP.
Oh gosh, I should know this. 2002 American League MVP for the
I
Orioles.
believe it was 2002.
Miguel Tejada. Miguel Tejada. Yeah.
Yep. So Miguel Tejada, he
I was
played
trying to
in
think when you said
1,000.
A's, it kind of sparked a little bit.
Yeah. So Tejada played in 1,152 games from June 2nd, 2000 to June 21st, 2007, which that in itself
Hmm.
is crazy.
Hmm.
But he was still 1,480 games shy of Cal Ripken's his record.
That's
And
wild.
then the current active player who has the most games played in a row is Matt Olson at 627 games. And he is
Oh,
still
wow.
2,005 games shy of that record. And
Wow.
his record, he's been playing every single game since 2021. I think May of 2021. So that's already been 4 years. And this guy, he still has to play another, geez, like I'm gonna guess like 15, 16 seasons, 14 to 16 seasons at least.
Does this mean Matt Olson is going to be a Baltimore Oriole one day?
I mean, possibly. Who knows? I mean, let's
Oh,
hope the
man.
Braves maybe start playing a little bit better and they won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, they might have to make some trades here soon before it gets too ugly.
All right.
Well, everyone, happy Friday and happy Saturday. Happy Friday currently in the time, but happy Saturday.
Yep. 643 talk. See you on the next one. I'm Luke.
That's it. I'm Benny. Peace.